X-intercepts. What do all three of those points have in common? Excellent. Tell me something unique about their coordinates. Y value is equal to 0. So you can see that in order to find the x-intercept, set y equal to 0 and solve for x. And solve. Red dot is a y-intercept. If you want to find the y-intercept, what value is equal to 0? Yeah, so set x equal to 0. Whoop. Solve for y. So our goal today is to be able to, be able to graph equations by finding x and y intercepts and also making table values. Now, I would say that by the time you leave pre-calculus, your goal should be that you can look at any equation and solve it, and you should be able to look at any function and graph it. Too many times people put too much emphasis on solving the equations. When you get a visual of what it looks like, you're going to be a lot better off headed into calculus. So let's start here. X-intercept. I plug in 0 for what? Then we plug in 0 for y, it goes away. The 4 goes away because 4 times 0 is 0. So you're left with just x is equal to 8. See how easy that is? The y-intercept, you plug in 0 for x, and you get 8. Negative 4y is equal to 8, or y is equal to negative 2. We'll now make a 10 by 10 graph. We'll start to plot these. So I plot 8 on the x-axis. I plot negative 2 on the y-axis. But as you can see in the directions, I don't want you to just find the x and y intercepts. I would also like you to find one additional point. And we're going to do that by making a table. Now, I already know 2 coordinates on this table. I know if x is 8, y is 0. I know if y is negative 2, x is 0. But I would like to find one more point. So you can plug something in for x, or you can plug something in for y. What would you like to do? Okay, what do you want to plug in for x? Okay, you can plug in 1 and subtract it, get 7. You're going to get a fraction. So since it's a free country, I'm going to choose 4. So 4 minus 4y is equal to 8. Or negative 4y is equal to 4. And so y is equal to negative 1. Now, did you know ahead of time that this was a line? How did you know it was a line? Tell me why you knew it was linear. Because it's not exponential, because the degrees of the x and y are 1. Very good. So this does fit. That is a linear graph. We can be confident in that. So you are going to, today, find those x and y intercepts and then one more coordinate and try to make a graph on it. What do you think the next one looks like? Great. So let's find the x-intercept. You plug in 0 for what? So 0 equals x squared minus 2x minus 8. Oh no, what to do? Factor. And I get 4 is an x-intercept and negative 2 is an x-intercept. Find the y-intercept. What? X is equal to 0. Yep, isn't that nice? Everything goes away except for the constant on the end because it has no variable attached to it. Okay, let's find another point. What would you like to plug in? Something for the x or something for the y? If you plug in something for the y, we'll have to subtract it over and we'll get two values. So instead, we'll plug in for x. And let's plug in something between, say, -2 and 4. What would you like to plug in? Okay, we'll do 1. 1 squared is 1, minus 2 is -1, minus 8 is -9. And again, it does fit what we thought, is that this does look like a parabola. Is this new to you? No, it's old news. But tomorrow will be new. We'll be talking about testing for symmetry. So enjoy the lesson while it's fresh and easy and no big deal. Okay. All right, now those first two you're able to predict exactly what they look like. But what about 3 and 4? That's a little bit different, huh? Yeah. So let's confuse ourselves. X-intercept. Plug in 0, 4, Y. X is 9. No big deal. Feeling confident. Y-intercept. 0 for x, so 0 equals 9 minus y squared. Ooh, factoring for y. How do you solve that? Yeah, you could add the y squared over, or you could factor it. Either way, you have to know that you get two solutions. If you do not list both solutions, it's not correct. So if x is 9 and y is positive or -3. So does anybody know what kind of shape we're getting? Yes, we're getting a sideways parabola. I'll plot that x equals 9, y equals +3, y equals -3. Kind of fits the idea of a sideways parabola, doesn't it? So I will make a table, x and y. Looks like when I plugged in 9 for x, I got 0 for y. When you plugged in 0 for x, you got two values. You got +3 and -3. So what would you like to do? Do you think it's going to be easier plug in a value for y or plug in a value for x? How about you give me a reason why you think it'd be easier to plug in one? Yeah, so if you plug in something for y right now, you're just going to get 9 minus that squared is going to give you one value, right? Whereas if you plug in something for x, then you'll be solving getting two values, right? So instead of plugging in something for x, let's just plug in something for y. What y value do you want to plug in? Yeah, sure. We'll say, what would give you a y value of 1? Well, when you plug in 1, you get x is 8. Now you're feeling much more confident that this is a horizontal parabola, aren't you? But if it is a horizontal parabola, we should have a dot right here as well, right? So that would mean if we plugged in a y value of -1, we should still come up with 8. Let's see. -1 squared is 1, and 9 minus 1 is 8. Look at that. Now we're very confident, and we're so smart that we should reward ourselves. What do you do to reward yourself? When I like get a project done, I go get a bowl of ice cream. Same? Peanut butter and chocolate. That's my favorite. Any guess on the next shape? I like that idea. It's going to be a wavy wave. Well, let's figure it out. The x-intercept will have x squared is 16, therefore x is plus or minus 4. And for the y-intercept, I'll plug in 0, 4, x and I get 4y squared is 16. Divide by 4. Very good. It is an ellipse. An ellipse? An ellipse or an oval? Yep, very good. So you can see from your table that if you have x values of 4 or negative 4, the y value is 0. If you have y values of 2 or negative 2, the x values were 0. You tell me, we want to find one more point. What would you like to plug in? Something for x or something for y? I like to plug in 1 for y. And so I will have x squared plus 4 is equal to 16, or x squared is equal to 12. So x is plus or minus root of 12, which is 2 roots of 3. So that means positive 2 roots of 3 will give you 1, and negative 2 roots of 3 will give you 1. Anybody know what the square root of 3 is? 1.7 multiplied by 2, 3.4. So the coordinate 3.4 and 1, 3.4 negative 1, or negative 3.41. There we go. So that does seem to fit right on our shape. We can be confident that we did it correctly. That's your goal for today. Try to keep it short. So Mondays, it's hard to focus, right? Especially when it's a beautiful day. Kind of like how we have snow days, we should have sun days. If it's so nice outside, we should call school just so we can enjoy the day outside. Let's just start school in July. Yeah. Scroll up. A lot of people had questions about your next test. I envision next week, Wednesday, approximately. Approximately next week, Wednesday. I will, but first, I'll put the assignment up on the board. Your assignment on the board is right here. Don't look at that one. It's page 100. I think it's actually 102 is where it starts. But it's problems 43 through 54 and 56. Now, please disregard the directions. The directions will tell you to test for symmetry. You don't know symmetry yet. So just find the x and y intercepts, find one additional point via table, and then make sure that you make a graph. Are we all clear on that? And then make sure that if you don't like the Green Bay Packers, you give Jake an evil look today.